Hello and welcome back to The Honest Left. A lot has been happening over the past week. I haven't made a video in about 5-6 days or so. I've been kind of waiting, see what goes on, see what kind of bills get passed, see what kind of relief is going to come in regards to the coronavirus crisis. So over the past week, we have had a lot of legislation being put forward, and we've had, I think, one bill in the past week, and there was another bill a couple of weeks before that. And so the bill they passed just a few days ago provides paid sick leave for corporations with under 500 employees. So basically, it covers roughly 20% of people who actually need money. Another bill has been presented, and just last night they voted on it, and every single Senate Democrat voted no. Now, why did they vote no? Well, a lot of people could say it is a partisan issue, and that is true, and one point I want to make in this video is that it is utterly depressing and disgusting that this whole crisis has become so politicized and partisan. This isn't about politics. This is about helping people in a literal pandemic crisis. And so the bill that got voted on last night would have given one-time payments to basically every adult American based on your income. And now this is also based on your 2018 tax returns. And so it doesn't take into account how much money you made last year. It takes into account how much money you made in 2018. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, maybe there weren't people working in 2018. They had no income. They are working now, but they cannot go to work because of the COVID-19 crisis. They would get absolutely nothing. So obviously you can see a problem with that. But another problem in the bill was kind of the corporatist bullshit that they snuck in, that they kind of baked into there and kind of hoped people wouldn't notice. Basically bailing out large corporations as part of this relief bill that is supposed to be helping working people. And so yes, every Senate Democrat voted no. And a few Republicans actually voted no too. And one interesting thing that I've seen come out of this whole crisis situation is kind of the Democrats are getting out-lefted by the GOP in some regards. Obviously the GOP, they still have this corporatist interest. They're trying to bail out corporations and trying to, give people a one-time payment that would literally help basically nobody. But there's a lot of members of the Republican Party that are talking about UBI. One of those people is Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney has been getting a lot of attention because he is out-lefting the left. He's talking almost every day. You see articles, you see videos, whatever, of Mitt Romney talking about the need for emergency UBI. UBI is universal basic income. That was a big point of Andrew Yang's campaign, was the idea of $1,000 a month universal basic income. And so this bill did not pass, and they're in talks again today. I believe they're trying to be able to vote later on tonight, and we will see what happens with that. But again, the GOP is kind of like the leaders of this whole thing. The Democrats are kind of been useless throughout this entire process, besides maybe a couple of them, namely Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and other people like that. Especially in Alexandria's case, her state, New York, has become the biggest issue in the United States. We have over 8,000 confirmed cases in New York State. And again, I think I said this in a previous video, but confirmed case number is infinitely smaller than the actual case number. The actual case number is most likely in the millions. In my opinion, what really needs to happen, what is really going to help people is, first of all, and I said this before, stop politicizing the issue. Stop making it a partisan issue. This is about helping people. It's very easy. And again, this is coming from me. Obviously I'm not a politician, but in my eyes, it's not that hard of a decision to make. You implement emergency UBI for 1 to 2, maybe 3 months down the line, and you get it passed. You say, okay, based on your income, based on your family size, you're going to get this amount of money every month. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was proposing a bill that would give $2,000 UBI every month and another $1,000 for each child in the household. Now that, yes, is that a socialistic idea? Absolutely. But you know what's so funny to me is that Bernie Sanders' ideas don't seem so crazy now, do they? They don't seem so radical now, do they? And when you have conservatives, when you have the Republican Party, Republican senators, Republican House representatives, when they are pushing UBI, and the Democrats are basically being useless and blocking everything and really making this a partisan and politicized issue, we have a real problem on our hands. People need help right now. They don't need another week of deliberations to come up with a bill. They need money right now. They need UBI right now. So we need to stop politicizing. We need to stop making it a partisan issue and make it a people issue. We need to stop thinking we need to bail out every big corporation because they'll be fine. They make millions, maybe billions of dollars in profits. Okay, we don't need to bail out. We don't need to give Bill Gates $1,000 a month. We don't need to give Jeff Bezos $2,000 a month UBI. We need to give it to all the millions of, the rest of the millions of people that need money right now. And also, we need to stop thinking that times are still normal, that we can still have this capitalistic idea in America because times are not normal, okay? Things that I read and things that I watch, they're very informed. The main point that is being made, the norm is dead. We will never go back to the norm that we had before because the norm is dead. And one thing I really hope comes out of all of this is it'll give you a different perspective on life when you're dealing with things like what we're dealing with. And I know for me personally it has. It makes it feel like everything we squabbled about, everything that we thought was a big issue before was just stupid. It was just nothing. It's so weird to me that just a couple weeks ago, I was just reviewing debates and I was just talking about Joe Biden and how terrible he was, and none of that seems to matter to me now. Obviously, in some way it does matter, and it still boggles my mind that people are voting for Joe Biden, but it just doesn't matter right now. Okay, people need help. Okay, experts are coming out and they're saying 30% unemployment is where we are heading because of the mishandling of this crisis. 30% unemployment. Let me tell you something. In the Great Depression in the 1920s, the highest unemployment ever got was 24%. We're talking about another 6%. And I'm sure anybody who's studied the Great Depression, you see people lining up on the streets to get one bowl of soup, getting one thing to eat, getting one water bottle. And they had 24% unemployment. We are looking at 30%. That is catastrophic, apocalyptic. And that is where we are heading because this thing has been so mismanaged throughout this entire process. And you have Trump going out telling people they're terrible reporters for asking him what he's going to tell people who are scared. Flipping his position all the time on whether it's serious or not. Okay, but it is very serious. And again, going back to New York, 8,000 confirmed cases. And one interesting thing is that, it was said in the beginning that it was like mostly elderly people with pre-existing conditions who really need to be worried. 54% of the people infected in New York State, out of that 8,000, over half of that are 18 to 49. It is not what we thought it was. It is far more unpredictable than what was coming out initially, and that's what makes it even more scary. And yes, it is scary. Okay? Stop pretending that everything is fine. Stop pretending that we can just do our normal thing. We can't. Me in my lifetime, I'm only 23 years old, but never did I imagine that we would be in this state. Never did I imagine something like this could become a reality as quickly as it did. Because again, like I said, a couple weeks ago, I wasn't talking about this. I didn't have any interest in talking about this. It was going on in China. Yeah, okay. Just a couple weeks later, here we are. The confirmed case toll is just rising. The curve, guys, the exponential growth of infection is very, scary. And so people, and this is really getting to me, people need to listen. People need to listen to doctors. People need to listen to scientists who are telling them, hey, stay home. But you have just this gluttonous bullshit American attitude that you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's just, you can't right now. Okay, it's not just about you. It's not about what you want. It's not about, oh, I want this, so I'm gonna go out and get it, and I'll, well, whatever. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Let me run some numbers by you here. Okay? So if we continue at the growth rate that we have right now, we are talking about 40% to 70% of Americans getting infected. The United States has 333 million people living in it. Okay, so let's take 50%. Just a nice number. Alright, so you're talking about, what? 170 million people infected. Okay? And now doctors are making rough estimates here. Out of that 170 million people infected, 20% of those people will probably need ventilators because they cannot breathe on their own. Guess how many ventilators we have? You're talking about 45 million people will probably need ventilators. At the very high end, the very maximum, we have 150,000. 4 out of 5 people will not be able to get a ventilator. 4 out of 5 people will probably die because of it. So you're talking about almost 40 million people dead because we were not prepared. And because people wouldn't listen. People would not stay home. They think they can do whatever the fuck they want because this is America. And their gluttonous, greedy attitude will kill millions. So listen, if you're one of those people who think this is not as serious as it's getting made out to be, you are wrong. And those numbers I ran by you, they are estimates, but they will very quickly become reality. And so look, educate people. Spread the message. Stay home. Be a good Samaritan. Practice social distancing. Practice self-isolation like I have. I have not left my house in 2 weeks because I was having symptoms. And so that's all that needs to happen, or we will have a very serious problem on our hands. We already will have a very serious problem on our hands, but it's up to us to take the proper steps to try and lower the numbers and lower the curve and stop the exponential growth. So anyways, I just wanted to make a video talking about kind of this current state, what's going on, as far as what's going on in Congress and with the president, and just some updates about numbers, all that kind of stuff. Enjoyed this video. If you found it good, informational, make sure you leave a like on it. Subscribe to keep up to date, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you're doing to help. Let me know what bothers you about what people are doing, because people are pissing me off, guys. They're pissing me off. Anyways, thank you for watching.